I'm going to preview the Baylor versus Oklahoma State football game, which will be played on October 26th at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. And as of this recording, Baylor's favored by 7 points. It originally was 3.5, then it's increased in Baylor's favor. We'll have to wait and see between now and when the game starts. If you would have told me that spread back in the preseason, I would have said, I don't know about that. There are obvious reasons why the spread is the way it is right now. For starters, Oklahoma State has been reeling in a bad way. I mean, 4 straight losses. But I will say, they should have beat BYU last week. Let's be honest. They gave up a touchdown within the last 10 seconds. Yes, I know the Utah score was a 1-possession game, but that game was more out of reach. Oklahoma State just climbed back in it, and then Utah got a couple first downs and it just ran out the clock. And they got dominated by Kansas State by 22 points and West Virginia by 24 points. And that was before the bye week. And I think another factor into the BYU game last week was BYU only had 6 days to prepare. Oklahoma State had 13. Yeah, I think that was part of the reason why it was closer than it was. And I know there are injuries. Colin Oliver, the best player on defense, in my opinion, he's been out since game number 2. I know there have been other injuries as well. I get it. And y'all can check out the outlook on Oklahoma State football in the description below so y'all can see it. Yes, they actually started 3-0 and lost every game. But I will say, the Arkansas game, they were fortunate to win that game. So they could have really been worse. So Baylor's 3-4, 1-3 in the Big 12. And yes, Oklahoma State's the only team in the Big 12 as of this moment that's winless. I would not count out Mike Gundy at all. I wouldn't. I'm just telling the truth. I mean, and all this. Now I will go over Oklahoma State statistically and in terms of like team stuff, and y'all can check out the individual stuff just to make it faster. First of all, Oklahoma State offensively, they averaged 30.86 points per game, 137 first downs, 116.6 rushing yards per game. But I will say they ran all over BYU last week. So, just so you know. 278 passing yards per game. They only allow 4 sacks and 25 tackles for loss. It's not that for whatever reason, the offensive line is not blocking as good as last year, despite having Ollie Gordon back. But the pass protection, that's not the problem. They have turned the ball over some, and 10 interceptions and 1 fumble. 40 for 99 on third down, 8 for 12 on fourth down, 25 minutes, 53 seconds on time possession. They're an air raid offense. They 24 pass breakups, 16 quarterback hurries, 2/3 deep. On the O-line is 310.5 pounds, but I will say that I heard Mike Gundy say that they're going to be down a starter for the game, potentially, on the offensive line. But either way, and they're very experienced up front. And another reason why they were close with BYU is turnovers by BYU. 3 of them. And points out turnovers. Just saying the way it is. And BYU did not play their best game. That's clear and evident when you look at the last game. Well, I will say, Alan Bowman will get the nod at quarterback, it seems. Number 7, 6'3", 220-pound quarterback that is a senior. It's because Garrett Rangel, who started the game last week, is out for the year with a broken collarbone. Yeah, he's a different type of player. And even their third string, Zane Flores, is not going to play for the rest of the year either, due to a lower leg injury. So, yeah, it's either Al Bowman or originally the fourth string quarterback, which I'm going to just say the fourth string and fifth string quarterbacks have never attempted a pass all year long. And the first one's like Melialaki Smith, Maelaki Ealiuki. Apologize if I butchered that. We'll see if he even plays. And it's number 8, 6'4", 185-pound quarterback. That is a freshman. And I've heard from what Oklahoma State fans have been saying, he's good. He could run the ball. So I'm just saying, there's obviously Garrett Wilson, number 15th, 6'2", 215-pound quarterback. That's a freshman. I'm only mentioning those two guys because that's the second and third string guys also right now. Unless they really want to bench Alan Bowman during the game. Keep that in mind. They could do that. They did that against Utah. Just telling the truth. Then they just started a new quarterback last game and he's out. And I will say, Ollie Gordon is questionable with the leg injury. He was in and out last game. And we'll see how many carries he does. Because, he's going to be in the NFL next year. But either way, you got to prepare for him. And then number 0, 6'2", 225-pound running back. That is a junior. I don't know why Trent Howland has not played as much. Because he was really good at Indiana last year. Number 24, 6'3", 240-pound running back. That is a junior. And I know they do have like Sessi Valahi, Vailahi, number 3, 5'9", 200-pound running back. That's a freshman. They actually played Rodney Fields Jr. last week. Number 20, 5'9", 285-pound running back. That's a freshman. So don't be shocked if they do throw in those other 3 guys that I mentioned besides Ollie Gordon. Don't be shocked at running back. Don't be. Now, they do have some dangerous wide receivers despite the quarterback play. I'm just saying the way it is. Dejon Stribling, number 1, 6'2", 200-pound wide receiver. That's a junior. Is Brennan Presley, number 80, 5'8", 175-pound wide receiver. That's a senior. Rashad Owens, number 10, 6'2", 230-pound wide receiver. That is a senior. Talon Cetron, number 2, 6'2", 195-pound wide receiver as a sophomore. I apologize if I'm looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. That's literally all the guys with 200 yards receiving or more. But I will make mention to Dwayne Lofton, number 5, 5'11", 109-pound wide receiver as a senior, and there's Josh Ford, number 40, 6'6", 245-pound tight end. That's a freshman. He's played some. That's pretty much all the guys you really need to know. Now, defensively, they have had struggles. And it's Captain Obvious, but when you look at them statistically. But I will say they are better than Texas Tech on the defensive line. And the same thing goes for offensive line. They just have more dudes. They're better than both positions at Texas Tech. They are better than the Texas Tech ones from last week. They do have 41 tackles for loss and 12 sacks, 9 interceptions, 3 fumbles, 34 minutes, 6 seconds time possession allowed, 41 for 103 on third down, 11 for 22 on fourth down. They do allow 237.9 rushing yards per game. Big red flag. And then it's not mentioning their passing defense. They allow 252.71 yards. They do allow 28.71 points per game, so pretty much almost 29 points per game. 168 first downs. They run like a 3.35. 29 quarterback hurries and 29 pass breakups. The 2/3 deep at the defensive tackle / defensive end, 297.5 pounds. Just a nose tackle, 330 pounds. Defensive end, 278 pounds for both defensive end spots. So that's just saying that. And they do have some questionable guys on here. But I'm just going ahead and mention, even if they don't play. If they don't play, they don't play. And that's Trey Rucker. He has a hamstring. Number 9, 6 foot, 210-pound safety. That's a senior. Nick Martin, number 4, 6 foot, 220-pound linebacker. That's a senior. And obviously, you already know about Colin Oliver. He's going to be out for this game. I'm not going to even mention his height or anything like that. Then it's Jeff Roberson, number 22, 6 foot 2 inch, 225-pound linebacker. That is a senior. There's Kane Daniels, Number 5, 6'4", orange, 235-pound safety. That's a junior. There's Obi Ezebo, number 33, 6'2", 245-pound defensive end. That is a senior. Kobe Hilton, number 0, 6 foot, 210-pound safety. That is a senior. Parker Robertson, number 8, 5'11", 185-pound safety. That is a junior. Lick Rawls, Lyk. I apologize if I butchered that. Number 6, 6'1", 210-pound safety. That is a junior. There's Corey Black, number 2, 6 foot, 190-pound CB. That's a senior. There's Cam Smith, number 3, 6 foot. I'm gonna have to look that up again. And I'm gonna correct this on my end on the Oklahoma State, just to let you know when I do finish this review. And I could just tell, like, from what I've heard, but based on the numbers, it's not the defensive line's problem. Yes, part of it's the defensive line's problem on the run, but it's the linebacker play. 190 pounds. So now I got that fixed up. Then there's Cale Smith, number 10, 6 foot, 175-pound CB. That's a junior. There's Dylan Smith, number 11, 6 foot, 185-pound safety. That is a sophomore. Now I'm going to just mention some defensive tackles and slash nose tackles here, and it's Colin Clay, number 93, 6 foot 4 inch, 330-pound nose tackle. That is a senior. Amon Oates, number 99, 6 foot 3 inch, 305-pound nose tackle. That is a junior. There's Cameron Epps, number 7, 6 foot 2 inch, 205-pound safety. That is a sophomore. And there's Deshaun Brown, number 87, 6 foot 2 inch, 265-pound defensive end. That is a sophomore. There's Justin Kirkland, number 97, 6 foot 3 inch, 245-pound nose tackle. That is a junior. And from here on out, it's going to be more like nose tackle, defensive end, because they do rotate guys, as we all know. That's what normal teams normally do. So, and there's Xavier. I'm pretty sure I went over Xavier Ross, but if I did, I apologize for the repeat. Number 56, 6 foot 4 inch, 285-pound defensive end as a senior. Okay, now Cody Walter Sheed, Walter, then SCHIED. So Walter, then SCHEID. That's how you spell it. Number 96, 6 foot 7 inch, 345-pound nose tackle. That is his senior. There's Julio Johnson, number 95, 6 foot 5 inch, 260-pound defensive end as a sophomore. And that's all the guys really you need to know on the defensive side of the ball. They do have 2 guys that punted the ball 14 or more times. Not sure. I'm pretty sure I'm not sure which one they're going to go with, but if you go based on last game, you know who it is. But I'm just going to go ahead and mention both. Hudson Cake, K-A-A-K, number 29, 6 foot 2 inch, 215-pound punter as a sophomore. Wes Paul, P-A-H-L. I apologize if I butchered that. Number 90, 6 foot 5 inch, 205-pound punter as a senior. Now their normal kicker is Logan Ward, number 19, 5 foot 11 inch, 215-pound kicker as a junior. And I'm going to say this up front. Oklahoma State will play desperate for this game. Kind of like what Baylor did to Texas Tech last week. Let's just be honest. As well as what Oklahoma State did a week ago. And another thing to mention here. Per Dave Aranda at the press conference, Ketron Jackson at wide receiver, probable. Kevin Williams III at cornerback, CB, probable. DJ Coleman at safety, as well. Now, questionable are like Kendrick Simpkins as a safety, but we'll see about that. And Dominic Richardson, from what Dave Aranda says, it's more like down the line, not right now. He's going to be back this week at running back, so yeah, just to let you know about that front as well going into this game. Of course, like I said, Oklahoma State's going to play desperate for this game. They wanted to get off that schneid of 4 games in a row, and they have failed to live up to their expectations. But you got to keep in mind, their win total for this year was 7.5. And a lot of people said, why? Oklahoma State last year had 5 one-possession wins. And the defense was bad, and Alabama was mediocre. I mean, that's the thing. It looks like they're not winning as many close games, and they even got blown out twice. And one of those games was at home to West Virginia. So I'm just saying. And not just they're not only going to play desperate, but they're going to play ticked off. I expect them to. And there's one or two directions after a heartbreak loss that Oklahoma State's going to go with. They're going to play really high level next game or really low. I don't know which ones they're going to go with, but I would dare to say they're going to play more at a higher level. Just to be honest. Across the board, you got to make adjustments on the fly. Not just from first half to second half, first quarter, second quarter, or third quarter to fourth quarter, and even in overtimes, but really play by play, possession by possession. I mean, whatever you did right last game against Texas Tech, bring it to this game. And whatever you did wrong last game against Texas Tech, obviously correct it here. I mean, and it's homecoming for Baylor, by the way, if y'all didn't know. Obviously, you want to limit your penalties as much as possible. Don't commit dumb penalties, especially on third down on defense, or like a personal foul, roughing the passer, or personal foul targeting. We don't want that. You gotta do a better job in that category. And I will say, now, first things first on the special teams, just to make this brief. Don't have special teams blunders. What's that mean? Don't allow block kicks, block field goals to happen. Don't allow big returns in both the kicking game and just kickoffs or punts to happen. Not even a touchdown. Obviously, if you do a good job on special teams, I would take that. Because hidden yardage does matter in football games. It's just the truth. Make your field goals. Have good punts if you're going to punt the ball. I mean, that's the truth. And kick the ball to the end zone on kickoffs. That's kind of one thing they didn't do one time, and they got penalty for a kick out of bounds. So I'm just saying. Another thing across the board too, you can't be just satisfied with last week's win. That's last week. This is a totally new ball game here. I mean, that's just telling the truth. And I know Dave Aranda and the players, that yes, they enjoy that win, but they now are more focused for this game. I mean, and this is a prime opportunity at home. I mean, that's just telling the truth. Okay, so now it's pretty basic defensively what Baylor needs to do in this ball game. Make Alan Bowman beat you through the air. As in, shut down the run. Slow them down. It's just telling the truth. Get them below 150 yards or rushing or less. And don't let them go off like they did against BYU. Force turnovers. Create havoc plays. And yes, I know they might not allow a bunch of plays, but you gotta. And another thing I forgot to say across the board, please start fast. Because if you could start fast, that would really help your cause, and you gotta finish strong and you can play good in the middle eight as well. So now, back to the defense. Make Alan Bowman beat you, like first things first, shut down the run as much as possible, and especially contain Ollie Gordon. And don't let them go off like they did against BYU like a week ago. That's simple. And yes, I know they have good wide receivers. You got to make sure you play good pass defense as well. And they might take some shots. Don't be shocked. And I know their quarterback is not that accurate. He's not. But they're going to live with, we're going to just set up the run, and then we'll take a deep shot eventually. And get them to 3rd and longs, as in like 3rd and 6 or longer. I mean, obviously if they commit a penalty, they commit a penalty. It's whatever, and you can't let the refs just deter you and play a more mentally tougher team across the board too, and make plays to win. You gotta make them, and they might go for it on 4th down sometimes, and please get some 4th down stops. And if it's a 3rd and long, don't allow them to get a 1st down, please. And getting pressure on the quarterback would really help. And they might get the ball out quick, I get it, but if you can't get there, bat the ball down at the line of scrimmage. I mean, or bat it down as a linebacker in a pass coverage. Obviously, getting a pick or getting a fumble would really help. But you get the whole point there. And it's pretty obvious what Baylor needs to do on offense. Don't shoot yourselves in the foot. Don't commit turnovers. You didn't commit a single turnover last week for the first time all year. Do that for this game. The yard opportunity's there. And you got to limit the negative plays as much as possible, obviously, on the tackles for loss. And that O-line needs to step up like they did a week ago and create some running lanes. And I get this Oklahoma State defensive line is better than Texas Tech. I get it. But you need to find a way to get some push up front and be a good pass blocking as well, because Sawyer Robertson make good decisions. You got to win your 1-on-1 battles as wide receiver and tight end. Catch the contested passes as much as possible, and obviously you want to get to 3rd and manageables and all this. And please be smart and don't commit dumb penalties after the fact. And of course, keep your composure. You don't want to have like a holding, because you will set yourself back. I mean, that's the thing. There are opportunities against this Oklahoma State defense to get some big plays on them, whether it's like a deep pass or a short play that could turn into a big play. I mean, it's the thing. We just got to go out and execute, and don't turn the ball over. And Baylor's not had a Big 12 home win since October 22nd of 2022 against Kansas. This is the best opportunity you had. And I get the BYU game. You should have. Don't start slow. You win that ball game. I mean, it's just telling the truth. But you cannot start slow in this ball game. And let's try to take away the confidence from Oklahoma State early. As in, like, if you're up in this game, protect the lead and extend it. And maybe at some point, Oklahoma State's going to like, I'm good. Let's get out of here. Go back to Stillwater. It's just telling the truth if you get up big enough in this ball game. But I'm not going to say I'm expecting a blowout by any stretch. But if you can do that, that'll be very impressive, and it would send a message to not just Oklahoma State, but everyone else on the schedule going forward. And you can't be fat and happy from last week's game. You just can't. This is a whole different animal. You got to refocus. And this is and let's try to take all the momentum from last week and bring it to this game. This is an opportunity here. And Oklahoma State is not as good as last year. It's clear and obvious. They already have the same amount of losses combined already when compared to a year ago. It's just the truth. And it might lose more down the line. And let's try to not be intimidated by Oklahoma State in this ball game. And show them who's boss. I mean, and go out there and try to protect home field. Let's do this. Because look, last week what you did was admirable. I didn't see a blowout coming for Baylor to win that ball game. I thought Baylor had a chance to win, but not blow them out. But what they did last week impressed me. Now, let's try to bring that team and do that same thing in Oklahoma State, as in like play at that level. Not like, I'm not saying I expect a blowout, but if you could play as good as that, it's pretty hard to lose. Of course, in those Hail Mary situations, just go over situational stuff here. You got to execute your Hail Mary play on defense, and of course, do the same thing on offense. And hopefully, it does not come down to a Hail Mary on offense at all. I don't want that to happen. I mean, let's just tell the truth, and all this. And if you could just get Oklahoma State behind so much, then they have no choice but to throw the ball. And let's just go out there and play with an edge. And make Ollie Gordon feel you. I'm not saying get him hurt. Do a clean, good hit on him. That's not a penalty. I mean, that's the thing. And I'm not saying get Alan Bowman hurt or anybody else hurt. I'm not saying that at all. I just want them to play hard. Just play hard and play smart. And let's go out there and go to work. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. And see you guys later on the road to 7 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So I'm money out this course. Like a video. Comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. Some more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well. So more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well. And I know Oklahoma State is going to be, they're better than their record showed a little bit so far this year. But when you look at, and they have had an injury bug that's hurt them. Their defense is not improved from last year. Alan Bowman's not the answer at quarterback for them. That's why they went with somebody else, and then somebody else got hurt. And they even the third string got hurt. So they're stuck with Alan Bowman. Or they go with the fourth string quarterback that's not played in a single game in his career. So I'm just saying all this as fact.